Three. Hello everybody. In this video we're going to take a look at lights in Mudbox. We've looked at them in an earlier video and if you remember from that video we looked at how you can change the position of your light by holding down the L key on your keyboard and then using the left mouse button. This is a convenient and easy way of adjusting the direction of your light. In addition, we can select our light in our object list. Here's my light. It's the default light that you will typically have when you create a new Mudbox scene. I'll select it and you'll see that we have all of its properties here. The color of the light, intensity, and so on. If I wish to change the color of the light, I can easily do so, either by selecting the colors here or using my color wheel. Furthermore, I can adjust the saturation of the color as well as its intensity, or rather color. I'm dealing with the color now, so I'm dealing with its brightness here. Here's where we would actually work with its intensity, which I can turn down, I can turn it up, we can make it a value beyond 1 by typing in that value, but that is how you would change the intensity of your light. In addition, if you need a little bit more fine-tune controlling of the position of your light or the orientation of your light, remember you can always use the L key. You can use the L key with the left mouse button. However, if you enable show grips, you'll see a rotator tool that will allow you to rotate the light. You can also turn on the show light, which will give you a better visual representation of the light. Now, usually most of the positioning or orienting of your light can be done with the L key, and with the show grips and show light enabled, you'll see how this is oriented and you can see where the light's coming from. But you can also grab these handles here and you can rotate them as well to fine-tune the orientation of your light. Now, you're not limited to just this default light that came in your Maya scene. You can create your own lights as well. So remember, we currently have this one individual light in here, a directional light. But if I come over here to create lights, I can create my own lights. You have 3 options too. You've got point, directional, and image-based. I'm going to do another directional light. So now we have a second light in here. I'll select that light. Let's take a look at its grip and light properties. Perhaps I'll use the L key and just orient the light a little differently like this so that we have light coming from both sides now. My original light has light coming from over here. This new light I've created has light coming from over here. This light has a warm light, so why don't we try giving this new one a kind of colder light by making it maybe more on the blue side here. And perhaps I'll bring down its intensity too. This could be a convenient way of taking some of those areas that are in shadow and making them so that they're still in shadow but not completely. Now, I personally believe it's very important to learn how to work with these lights rather than relying on just the lighting presets, which are found here. It's very important to be able to create your own lights, position them, change the diffuse color of them, intensity, and so on. However, the lighting presets can also be very valuable to use as a starting point for lighting your Mudbox scenes. because when you use these presets, you can still adjust them just as we have with this light that I just created. So we'll take a look at that now. Now, one thing that's very important to understand about these lighting presets is that when you select them, it's going to get rid of the lights that you currently have in your scene. So what that means is that while I've created my own light and I did a little bit of work there, as soon as I select one of these lighting presets, I'm going to lose that work. Generally, it's not a problem if you only have the default light in there, because you can always select the default light preset in the lighting presets here. But let's take a look at a couple of these other lighting presets and how they will affect this planet that we have here. Notice that you get the pop-up message saying that this action will remove all existing lights. It cannot be undone. Are you sure you want to continue? So we'll say yes. And here is this lighting preset, which is called Afternoon. Notice that this has two lights in it. It has the directional light and an image-based light. If we select the directional light, you'll see that once again you can turn on its grip and show light, and we can still come in here and we can adjust the position of it, as well as the color of it. Let's take a look at a few of these other presets. This one is called Backlit, and here it is. It comes again with a directional and an image-based light. I recommend that you explore all of these and just see what the lighting setup, what these presets do for you. Again, remembering that you should know how to create your own lights and how to adjust and set them up. But certainly these presets can be a great starting point as well, which will allow you to come in here and then fine-tune them. Now, we'll take a look at one more lighting setup here, another lighting preset, the Thriller. This one has two lights in it. They're both directional lights. And what you'll notice is that one of them is kind of a warmer light. This light 01 is the directional, and it's a warmer light. We can select this light 2. It's a cooler light. And if we come in here and we say show grips, we can see where our directional light 1 is coming from. We can still come in here and adjust that. We can come in here, then select our light 2, turn on its grip and show light, and adjust that one as well. So again, let me just stress how important I think it is to actually understand how to create your own lights and how to adjust all their properties. But then when you know how to do that, you can use the lighting presets more effectively as well. There's one more thing I would like to show you about lights before concluding with this video, and it has to do with shadows. So you'll notice here that I have my light 2 selected, and you'll notice that there's this area here for shadows. Right now this light is not casting shadows, it is only creating shading on our mesh here. So if we expand on the shadows, in this particular situation you're not going to see a big difference. But you will notice a little difference if I activate the shadows here. I'm going to go ahead and turn off the grip and the show light here so that that's not in the way. And we'll click on the cast shadows, and you see a little bit of a difference here. Not big difference. Certainly you could, if try it out and see if it makes your model look better. There are some situations, however, where you're going to definitely want to cast shadows, and we'll take a look at that now. So let's take a look at an example where we actually would want to cast shadows and how they can be effective for us in our scenes in Mudbox. I think for this example I will use this preset once again, the Thriller. You can see it's quite striking. And with it we actually get two cameras, two directional cameras. One of the cameras is a warmer color, the other one a cooler colored light. And let's see what happens when we turn on the shadows for one of these lights. I'm going to go ahead and select the first light, this directional, and we'll go ahead and turn on cast shadows. And as you can see, we get this nice shadow being cast on this plane that I've put down here in this Mudbox scene. In addition, there are times when you might want to cast a shadow on the model itself, and let's just take a look at that as well. I'm going to go ahead and rotate this around like this, and we'll just try to position the light in such a way that maybe the hand will cast a shadow on the body here. So I have the light selected. I'm going to use my L key, and as you can see, we're casting a shadow here of the hand on this left thigh. If I turn off shadows, now we just have shading. One other thing before we finish up with this video, because I've changed the lights here, and now the light is on the character a little bit more directly, perhaps the three-dimensional form doesn't pop out as much as it might otherwise. So one thing that you can really be thinking about with your lights, if you don't want things to look flat, is of course to make sure that the lights do have, in some cases, a very strong kind of direction. In this case, you can see that I have my light coming from this side over here, our right side. And it makes the three-dimensional form, it helps define the three-dimensional form more strongly. So I hope you've enjoyed this video, and thank you for watching.